Welcome to today's video. As you may be aware, this is the second video of the day, and even though it doesn't say in the title, this is the 25 subscriber celebration, and I'll get into that more at the end of the video. But like, if we do something different for the 25 subscriber video, and this is kind of like a part one. Like, part two is the actual top 5 list that I plan to do around 50 subscribers. But this is kind of like the honorable mentions. Now what this means is these are ones that are they're good, but there's something holding them back type deal. Like, there's just a little bit there that's missing. But it's like, I have somewhat of a script, but not much. Like, I'm used to not doing a script, so I'm just kind of got stuff to help refresh my memory mainly. Now, this list is purely based on my own opinion. Like, I'm not using any website that says, okay, this anime is rated this, this, and this type deal. That's not what I'm going off. It's just simply my opinion. And you're entitled to your own opinion. I'd love to hear, like, do you think one of these should have been actually on the top 5? Or are there animes on the PlayStation Store that you yourself think are good, but like those types of ones? That's what's on this list. Or they're good bought, and the bought, it always varies. Like, there's some that deal with the amount, there's some that deal with content, there's some that deal with misleading. So now, oh yeah, I kind of discovered that, but I'll recover it. Some are on the list because they fell just short of the top 5, while there are others that were decent but had a factor that held them back from being considered for the top 5. This list and the top 5 lists may get updated versions, or versions down the line, because there's plenty of anime on PlayStation that I've yet to watch, and hopefully it's something they continue to add too. It's like, they don't add anime as much as other shows, at least on the US one, but there's still a high likelihood that more will come, and there should hopefully be some good ones within those more to come. And also potential new seasons. Now, as usual, and as you can see behind this, I'm using gameplay. Like, I'm still not fully understanding the using of others' contents, and I don't really want to get into that. Plus, I'm criticizing some of these animes, so they may not be too keen on it, and I don't want to deal with that. But without any further ado, it's time to get to the list. And at number 5, we have Date Allied. Now, in this anime, there are spirits that are accompanied by spatial quakes when they appear, and each girl has her own powers and abilities. That, like, you have the stepsister, the adopted sister, where her power is regenerative fire. You've got, I don't quite remember her name, but there's that one where she's able to control time to a degree, and does so by killing a version of herself. So she's able to time travel, bring multiple versions of herself to one location. You get like the little sister one. Like, she looks like a little sister, even though she's not. That her ability is the dealing with ice. And you got the one that basically serves as the girlfriend, and she has a massive sword that has a ton of power within it. Now, it's Shiro's job to steal their powers away, and he's a member of a group that feels that that is the right approach to take, while there's another group, which is Birth Sister is involved with, that believes that because of the spatial quakes, the spirits need to be destroyed to stop the spatial quakes. And on the side that feels that they need to be like kind of the power sealed away. That is Shido, and he's the only one with that ability. And the way he does this is to kiss the spirit, but only once they've fallen in love with them. And like I just mentioned, it is revealed later in the series, and that his adopted sister is one of those spirits that he had sealed away long ago and had forgotten about, that she was actually that. And the issues that I have with this is that whole making them fall in love thing, because the first spirit that we see him seal the power away for the anime, she kind of takes on the girlfriend role. Well, he seals away the powers of several other spirits, and yet they kind of become like little sisters to him. So it's like, well, his ability to contain their power relies on them falling in love with him, and like they're not quite clear on what that means. So it's kind of like, well, they don't really seem to be in love with him, so how is he maintaining their power? But maybe he doesn't maintain their power, because another issue that I have is his actual use of the abilities. Like, it seems to be hit or miss as to whether he can use their abilities, all except for his adoptive sister, because her spirit power is regenerative fire, and he does use that on several occasions. So why can he use hers but not the girlfriend's? Because the girlfriend's like, she is jealous, but she's madly in love with him. So there's really that issue there. But like the rest of the stats you guys will see on screen, it's time to move on to number 4. Now at number 4 we have We Without Wings. And this one, it kind of feels like 3 stories woven into one, and it jumps between each of them. Now, early in the season, I did have trouble following this because it just seemed like it was all over the place. I'm like, wait, what? What was happening here? But get more into that after talking about the anime itself. Now, there is the first story being revolving around Takashi and the goings on of school life, where he has a little sister and the girlfriend. Now, there's a second segment which revolves around Shizuke, who eventually becomes working part-time at a bar that before that he hung out at. And the final piece of the puzzle is Hayato, and he's acclaimed to be a handyman, but in my opinion, he's kind of more of the hired thug line of work. Now, when the anime starts off, anyone unfamiliar with the manga, which is myself included, may get confused by what's going on because of the 3 seemingly different people, but as it goes on, it's revealed that they are basically 3 personalities of one entity, and their separate lives begin to overlap. Now, it seems like it's one body, but I don't fully remember. Like, I know there's a scene of a church where 2 of the personalities are talking to each other, but it just gets really confusing really fast. Like, it's basically anime, you need to read a wiki before you even start, which is one of the reasons it's on this list. You basically be at home before you watch it, and you go in and say, I like, they definitely almost put me off because of the fact that it seemed like he jumps around. And I did think it was good, but it was hard to follow. And it does have a decent amount of fan service. I'm pretty sure it's a light fan service. I don't recall being anything really heavy. And on this list, no real heavy fan service made. That is one of the factors that are considered in the list making. Let's see. Now, even though they like try to show, well, this is how everything comes together, still think that maybe 3 or 4 seasons to cover each one story and then do that interconnecting thing instead. If they didn't want to do that, at least do episodes directed at one person instead of just kind of jumping all about. But it's time to move on to that one, yeah. And like you may notice, somebody will talk more in this one than usual. Like I'm usually about 15 minutes, but figured I'd trip I do these voiceovers on the clip separate, and then I think I have to upload places. So the PlayStation people are gonna get segments before the full settings, but we gotta do that, and then it'll allow me to grab those and do it in one video. At number 3 we have Cancole. I believe that's how it's pronounced. This was originally going to be Shimonete, a boring world where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. And I did a last minute change because I couldn't find it on PlayStation anymore. I'm pretty sure it's on PlayStation. Like I ended up buying a special edition one that was on DVD and came with some kind of worthless stuff. But I'm pretty sure it's on PlayStation, but I couldn't find it, so to be on, since it's not purchasable as of the time of making this video, I didn't want to include it. Like you may want to go check these animes out for yourselves, and I don't want to be like, well, here's an anime, take my word that it used to be on here, but it's not anymore type deal. But for Cancole, from what I can find out, it's based off a video game released only in Japan named Kante Collection, and apparently there's other versions, so there may be a version of the game that's available in the US, whether it be on computer or on the on like a tablet. Now, it is the anime that I'm currently watching on PlayStation, so I'm only about a third of the way into it, but I feel that's still enough to get into this list because there are some quality aspects to it, but some downsides. Now, the premise of the anime is cute girls serving as a personification of World War II battleships, and that's really the nuts and bolts of the anime as far as I can tell. Now, I find it to be a confusing concept, and kind of I understand why the original game hasn't made a US release, because like I do like the kind of the off the wall Japanese anime games, like to see more, but this one just kind of seems like, what are they thinking? And like the anime is good quality and the girls do look amazing with the weapons attached, but the plot is where I am a plus, and it's just all, it seems like they're trying to get two niches at once. They want the battle anime fans and they want the light fan service fans. So it's kind of one of those things where, well, does it really hit with either type deal? And I'm not quite sure it does. Now, another big issue I have is I own the Japanese version on the PlayStation Store. Now you may be saying, well, what's the problem with that? It's the original version. You should be buying the original version of the anime. Well, the problem with that is if you go and search for the Japanese version on the PlayStation Store, it does not appear. Like the only way you could find it was in the What's New section. It may or may not still be there, but I found it in the What's New section, and a search of the Japanese version doesn't pull up. And when you go like I'm not sure about on PlayStation itself. I use the PlayStation video app on my phone. You click on the show, and then which brings you to the current episodes page. But there's this box you can click on where it will take you to the anime season page where you can select which episode you want to watch. Well, for the Japanese version, that season page is blank. So really, as when I'm done with an episode, it's currently done. So once I get to, well, I don't have to finish episode 12, but once I get to episode 12, that's all I have access to is episode 12, which is kind of messed up since I do own the anime, and because PlayStation has having issues with it, I won't be able to gain access to it. But like as you can see on screen, it is available at both the Funimation and Crunchyroll apps, which are on PlayStation. I don't know if it's the Japanese version or the English version, but at least it's there. Although, to be honest, I don't know if I'll rewatch it. So there's that. But let's head on to the next one. Now, at number 2, we have Initial D. I haven't really gotten much around to watching much more than clips. I do have season 1. It's actually my next DVD anime that I plan to watch, and of course it's part of the save program. Now for this anime, as far as I can tell, there's actually 6 seasons, but there's only 4 of them that are available in the US. Well, I say available, you can get the other on Amazon, I think, but if I'm understanding correctly, it's broken up into volumes, and each volume is well over $100. So, like, if you buy the save program, you're maybe spending $80 to $100 for the first 4 seasons, and then $400 for the other 2 seasons, give or take a little bit. So, it's not really cost effective to buy those versions. Now, the focus of the anime is on street racing style known as drifting in the local mountain roads, and of course it's an illegal activity. Well, what street racing, well, strike that, what unsanctioned street racing is illegal, because if I say what street racing is illegal, then you'd be like, well, what about IndyCar or Formula E, where they run on road courses that are made up of street courses? So just covering them myself, it's ones that aren't sanctioned. Now, apparently the even though he's like working 2 jobs when he's working for his father's restaurant as a delivery boy, it's a case of he's out there practicing drift while he's doing this, and he's wanting to compete. And from what I've gathered, apparently drifting's in his blood, because one of the guys that beats them is his father. So, like, I don't want to get too much into it, because honestly I don't know too much. And like, apparently the roads, even though the areas aren't always real, the roads are based off from real roads, from what I can gather. And if you're watching this, hopefully you've seen, well, if you're a subscriber to my channel, then you know I'm big into auto racing. So I'm really disappointed by how much is offered by PlayStation when it comes to this selection, because there's 4 seasons available and approximately 63 episodes with multiple movies, including I think a live action one. On the PlayStation Store, there are 2 episodes, both from Series 4. It's like, it's not series 1, episode 1 and 2. It's series 4, pick a random episode type deal. And like that is the main reason it made this list, is why put it only 2 episodes on? It just makes absolutely no sense. That's why the pricing's so skewed on this, because
I can't find this crate anywhere. Try the other side of the docks.
Not anything really there. Now, hopefully you're also watching this for anime, so if you've seen this anime, what are your thoughts on it? Like, you think it's worth buying the other seasons? Because in the same programs, first stage and second stage by themselves, stage 3 and 4 are in the pack. So, like, what are your thoughts on this anime? You can feel free to comment down below about that too, along with the other stuff. And it is time to go over to the number 1 honorable mention, and this one is a doozy of one. And at number 1 we have Shuffle. Now this is absolutely the most deserving and definition of what this honorable mention list is about. Like, it's a good anime, but there's a major but involved. But before we get to that, let's look at what a brief description like the game. Now, in this game, sorry, I say game because I was looking at the gameplay, and it's another anime series that finds its origins in video games. And from my understanding, it's an adult game. Now, there was a Windows version that had some hentai scenes near the end, and they did a PlayStation 2 release that was, of course, minus that. And in this one, there are 2 new transfer students at the school, and both want to have Rin end up as their husband. Now, one girl is Lysianthus. Sorry, I know I'm butchering that, but and she comes with, if he marries her, he's guaranteed to be the next king of the gods, while the other girl is Narin, and she comes with the guarantee of, if Rin marries her, that he will become the next king of the devils. And to top all this off, you've got Rin living with long-term friend Kiede, and it's one of those cases of she's madly in love with him, and he's friend-zoned her so hard that he doesn't even notice this. And then there's a final major character who kind of becomes the main focus of him, and we later learn on that she is of devil descent, and that the cause of her illness is because she is a devil and she doesn't want to use those powers. Now, I have mixed feelings about this one, because I did coming back for each episode, but it wasn't what I expected. Like, watching the trailer, it is portraying it as wall-to-wall fan service. Like, it should be looking like this gameplay. That's what the trailer says that it should look like. And really, that trailer's from 1 episode, and the rest of the series doesn't quite reflect that. And it actually gets really dark near the end, because, like I said, Azo would rather die than use her powers, while Rin's like, well, then I'll die, and tries to commit suicide, which forces her to use her powers to save him. So it definitely gets very, very dark near the end. It's a harem story, and he's clueless about it, which also doesn't make sense to me. Like, the whole point of the harem plot is the guys wanting the harem and to have a harem, but the guy's clueless about it. Just kind of weird. And then there's the major fact that on PlayStation it costs $33, whereas if you buy it through the save program it's about $20. And sure, there's probably a non-save version that may go $32 or more, but being that it's a digital form, like usually, even like I know there's a lot of episodes, but usually digital form is cheaper, so that was another reason why it made this list. Now that's for this, and it's time to do the outro, which is also fairly scripted. Thank you guys and hopefully gals for helping me reach 25 subscribers. I know it is a small number compared to other channels, but I'm very appreciative of every one of you and look forward to the continued growth of my channel. If you'd like to see this become at least a mini series, then please hit that like button. I'm considering doing a similar set of videos for Xbox, Netflix, Funimation, Crunchyroll, PlayStation Europe. If there's a PlayStation Japan, check out that one, etc. Now feel free to comment down below your thoughts on any of the animes listed in this video, or ones that you think may make the top 5. And the top 5 will come with the 50 subscribers. So like we're halfway to that one, and hopefully you guys are looking for that forward to that one. I definitely got some ones that I really like in there. They may not be everyone's cup of tea, but there's just, I have reasons behind why they're in the top 5, and like you saw the reasons why these ones were the honorable mentions. But as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.